Our lives are full of moments. From the moment the alarm clock goes off in the morning, to the moment our head hits the pillow to go to sleep at night. Some moments are meaningless and will pass from our memories shortly after they happen, while others will radically change our lives forever. For instance, here I am putting on my shoes this morning. I do this every single morning of every single day that I go to work, and most days that I have off as well. By the time I reach my car to leave for work, I will most likely not have much of a recollection of that moment. For instance, remembering which shoe did I put on first. Many of you will need to play back that part of the video just to refresh your memory. This is proof positive that we endure many moments throughout our days that can be perceived as meaningless. But what if I forgot to put on my shoes this morning? Then that moment obviously becomes a lot more meaningful. There are moments in our lives that are considered profound because of the effect they have on our lives. Like the moment we got our driver's license, for instance. One minute, we are bound to the whim of our parents or some other licensed driver. Then the next, we are completely free and trusted by the state in which we live to go anywhere, at any time. Other moments have more drastic effects on our lives, like the moment we found out our grandfather just passed away. Or the moment we make a mistake behind the wheel of a car. Often, moments like these can change who we are and what we believe, right down to the very core of our most deeply held beliefs. On September 11th, 2001, the loved ones of the 3,000 plus that were killed in a moment have to endure the rest of their lives without their fathers and mothers, sisters and brothers, sons, daughters, and closest friends. They believed that their loved ones were going to work for just another day at the office. Today, as the chairs at the dinner table still sit empty, that moment has hollowed them, left them empty, hurting, and wanting. There will never be just another day at the office for them. There will always be that moment that changed their lives forever. In the Bible, there's a man named Saul. Saul was a Jewish zealot who, by his own admission, persecuted the members of the early church in an attempt to destroy it. In Galatians 1:1, Saul tells us, "I was advancing in Judaism beyond many Jews of my own age, and was extremely zealous for the traditions of my father." To say that Saul hated Christians would be an absolute understatement.
I've done what I can here in Jerusalem to eliminate the followers of this false Messiah. I've put several hundred men and women under arrest.
Very good, Saul. Very thorough.
Thank you, sir. However, my informers advise me that many members of this sect have escaped to Damascus.
What do you propose?
I would like to go to Damascus and bring these heretics back to Jerusalem for trial.
While on this road to Damascus, without warning, there's a sudden flash of light that knocks Saul completely to the ground. He then hears a voice that says aloud,
"Saul, why do you persecute me?"
Who are you?
I am Jesus, whom you persecute.
Lord, what would you have me do?
Arise and go into the city, and it will be told you what you should do.
Even the men traveling with Saul saw the light as well. From that moment, the moment where Saul is interrupted from being who he was to who he became, is what's known as a salvation moment. Now, there's no mention of how long that particular moment took. It may have been just seconds or possibly even a couple minutes. But because of that moment, Saul was no longer Saul. He later changed his name to Paul. In fact, he was blinded for 3 days from that moment and would not eat or drink either. But he obeyed the command to go to the city. Unbeknownst to him, another man, Ananias, was given a divine command to meet with Saul in the house of Judas and to lay hands on him to cure his blindness. An apprehensive Ananias was also told about the intense amount of suffering that Saul was about to endure. In those moments, there was no questioning whether God was real or that Jesus Christ had spoken directly to them. They just knew. They were less concerned about proving Jesus was real and more concerned about spreading his gospel and doing what they were told. It's safe to say that in that moment, in that road to Damascus salvation moment, the whole world changed. In Luke 23, we learn that there were two men, thieves, who were crucified at the same time as Jesus. It's evident that Jesus was between the two men, as one was on his right and the other was on his left. One of these men chose to mock Jesus, saying that if he was truly the king of the Jews, that he should save himself. The other, in his own moment, decided to rebuke the first thief, saying to him that we are criminals and we are being justly punished for our deeds. This man, however, has done nothing wrong and does not deserve to suffer our fate. That second thief chose in one of his final moments to ask Jesus to remember him when he gets to his home. Jesus promised that second thief that he would dine with him in paradise that evening. It's safe to say that this particular moment, the moment the thief submitted to Christ, probably didn't have a profound effect on the world. It did have a profound effect on that particular thief, saving him from the punishment that surely awaited him. There are many, many examples of moments like these in the Bible. One only has to take the time to read and be inspired by the life, the works, and the passion of Jesus Christ, and to receive a moment like Saul received before he became Paul, or like the thief received as he died next to Christ on the cross. You only have to be willing to accept the gift that will come freely. The gift is an eternity spent with God who loves us and his Son who saved us. Eternity with family and friends and loved ones, and a life that will be forever changed by the moment that Christ takes you. I am living proof. Some will tell you that I should be checked by a doctor. Well, I've gotten a physical every year for the last 14 years and have always been given a clean bill of health. Some will say that I'm just too stupid to understand that it was a simple chemical reaction in my brain that was a response to stimulus. To that I say, well, so is every other thought that you will ever have. Does that make any moment in your life any less of a reality? I mean, because Dr. Singer can place a helmet filled with electromagnets over certain parts of your head that stimulates particular neurons in a reaction that will make some people feel as if they've had a godly experience. Some others will testify to feeling a presence in the room, and others will feel nothing at all. To that I can tell you that there were no electromagnets near my head at the time of my salvation moment. If what happened to me was a response to electromagnetic energy, then it can only be classified as a miracle or a divine intervention.
We should be fucking dead, man.
I know, we was lucky.
No. That wasn't luck.
Yeah, maybe.
This was divine intervention. You know what divine intervention is?
I think so. That means that God came down from heaven and stopped the bullets?
That's right. That's exactly what it means. God came down from heaven and stopped these bullets.
I think it's time for us to leave, Jules.
Don't do that. Don't blow this shit off. What just happened here was a miracle.
Chill, Jules. This shit happens.
Wrong. It doesn't just happen.
Do you want to continue this theological discussion in a car or in a jailhouse with the cops?
We should be dead, my friend. What happened here was a miracle, and I want you to acknowledge it.
All right, it was a miracle. Can we go now?
God did in my brain what man cannot do without specialized apparatus or equipment. My friends, I ask that you do not allow anyone to ever confuse you by giving you an explanation without a reason or a motive. Don't think that you are any less intelligent because you look at the same evidence as everyone else and come to a different conclusion. Don't be afraid of the change that God can make inside you, if only you'll just allow him to. And to all the young Christians, and especially the young skeptic out there, make up your own mind. Don't be belittled into someone else's belief. Don't be afraid to stand up to those who would tell you that your moment wasn't real, or that you are delusional, or you need help. Because were they true believers of science and the scientific method, they'd know that the evidence does not support their hypothesis. Finally, I ask that you remember that the gift that's waiting for you will affect you so profoundly that when it happens, you'll not be able to deny it. Oh, you might try, but you'd just be lying to yourself. And who would want to live like that? Thank you for watching, and remember that not only can everything change in a moment, but that true peace begins with how we treat our children. May God bless you.